I debated making this video for a while, but I can't hold off any longer because we don't really talk about politics on this channel, but this really pertains to us as real estate investors. Donald Trump was just fined $355 million for something that I kind of tell you guys to do on this channel all the time. And this verdict could affect a lot of us as real estate investors, both in the New York area as well as across the country going forward. This one's going to hit hard. Let's get to it. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you didn't already know, my name's Jay Costa. I'm a real estate builder, investor, and agent here in Northern New Jersey. And if you get value out of this video after watching, please smash that like button down below and also consider subscribing because we're slowly building a tight-knit community here of like-minded individuals looking to build wealth in real estate. And we talk a lot actually about HELOCs, home equity lines of credit, on this channel. So if that interests you, definitely consider subscribing down below. But in this video, I'm actually going to cover something that we usually don't cover because this isn't a political channel, but this really pertains very heavily to real estate investing, in my opinion, especially in my area, in the New York tri-state area. So I felt like I was compelled or had to give my opinion and also get your guys' opinion on the topic. So in this video, I'm going to share with you my thoughts, my general thoughts on Donald Trump being fined, or the Trump organization anyway, being fined $355 million for supposedly overinflating his assets in order to get more beneficial loan terms on the loans that his company was getting in order to build real estate developments in New York City. We'll talk about exactly what that fine was for, what sort of precedent this sets, and how it's going to affect real estate investing all across the country going forward. So first, let's go over what allegedly the Trump organization was guilty on. Well, this was a civil fraud trial, not a criminal one, so we need to know that. And it alleged that the Trump organization overinflated assets in real estate and collateral that they already had in order to gain beneficial terms for loans on other projects. Supposedly, he's been doing this for a decade long, and it defrauded the state of New York to a level where I guess they were concerned somehow and wanted to bring him to justice, let's say. So as a penalty, he has to pay $355 million plus interest, which could be $450 million. And in addition to that, he cannot operate a business for the next 3 years in the state of New York, and he can't apply for a loan in the state of New York for the next 3 years. But we basically right now have a couple of real estate investors out there kind of explaining why this is a horrible precedent to be set. So for instance, you have Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, out there saying that this is basically making the state of New York, which is already, his words, a loser state, and making it a flyover state because of its anti-business, anti-entrepreneurship, anti-investment agenda, and that he would never touch any deal in the state of New York. And he's tried in the past, but they make it too difficult with rules, laws, regulations, and taxes. And it's been like that for a while now, as we all know, but now you add on the risk that they will come after you with everything they got if they don't like you for some reason. The risk is not worth the reward anymore, and New York is dying, according to Mr. Wonderful. You also have guys like Grant Cardone out there saying that he has told his real estate investment company to no longer underwrite any deals in the state of New York because of this additional risk. Here's how I see it. We all know that Donald Trump exaggerates everything. That's fairly obvious, right? But what's also fairly obvious to me is how real estate works and how real estate loans work and how real estate works, especially in a place like New York City. You see, real estate is not like the stock market where there's a set open market with a price for an asset that you could buy or sell at any given time. We rely in real estate a lot on estimations, otherwise known as appraisals. And we also rely a lot on different lenders having an underwriting process that is thorough and trustworthy for that lender. As you may or may not already know, on this channel we talk a lot about HELOCs, home equity lines of credit, which is essentially a loan with collateral being used, in this case, your own personal home, in order to get a loan, and we use it to go invest in real estate. Now, as I've said in other videos, when you go apply for a HELOC, one of my biggest tips for you guys is to go apply and go get as many appraisals, like up to 3 or 4, as you can. And whichever one is the highest, you can kind of go with that one. Now, would that be artificially inflating a value, an asset that you have in order to get more beneficial terms on your loan? How about when the appraiser's there, if they come inside? Are you going to make sure they know of all of the drawbacks of the home, like the mold in the basement or the mice running around in the attic? I didn't think so. You're most likely going to make sure that they come on the best possible day and make sure that the home is tidied up as humanly possible, and you're going to make your house and your home shine so bright in order to get that highest appraised value that you possibly can get. And what if the appraiser comes back with a number that's higher than it's worth? Does that put you at risk for being taken out by an attorney general's office? Unfortunately, I think now these are all risks that we need to be aware of as real estate investors. And this is the same thing that real estate developers do all the time, just maybe on a higher scale. Let's say they have a building that's worth 200, they say is worth 200 million, and they're trying to use it as collateral, just like you are on your HELOC, in order to get 100 million. When they go to the lender, they apply to the lender, they're going to do their own due diligence. They have their own underwriting process, their own appraisal process. That's on the lender. You're always going to say that your house is worth more than it actually potentially could be, just in case they want to listen to you. Let's be real. And they may come back to you and say, oh, the building is only worth 100 million or 150 million, 175 million. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you'll go back and forth. And this is how it works in every town and every city in real estate across the country, because the process is very straightforward. It's on the lenders to underwrite and value the property that they're using as collateral. And they're very good at it. So why should you be concerned? Now, do I believe that the Trump organization exaggerated, fibbed, lied, whatever, in regards to valuing their assets in order to get better loan deals? Maybe, probably. But frankly, it doesn't matter very much to me for a few different reasons. Number one, the lenders completed their underwriting process and were happy with the loan that they were offering to the applicant, in this case, the Trump organization. Number two, the loans were paid back in full, so no one lost any money on this. And number three, the lenders actually testified in this trial that they were happy with the way that the loans turned out, and they'd be more than happy and willing to loan money in the future to the same organization. Lastly, this is not something that has ever been prosecuted for. Meanwhile, the Attorney General did say and campaign on the fact that she was going to go after someone in particular and find something on him. So I wonder why this is all happening. Just to give you an idea, the actual authority that the state has in regards to going after fraud cases like this vastly outweighs any sort of power or authority we would have as personal or private citizens when going after fraud or abuse that we feel we have a legal basis to go after for damages. That should frighten you a little bit. So in other words, if I somehow lost $355 million because of the Trump organization, I wouldn't have the same authority as the state of New York, even though they didn't lose a dime. In fact, if you actually step back and think about it, the fact that a state is going after someone or an organization for fraud when no actual amount of money was lost is quite something. You may say, Jay, this is apples and oranges. They're not coming after us. They only would go after a guy like Trump because he's a criminal. Well, that's your opinion and you're allowed to have it. But is it so different? Why is it so different? To me, I think of it as from the opposite perspective. If they're willing to go after a former president in this way, what is stopping them from going after you or I and just crushing us like a bug? And if you're okay with a state going after a real estate investor, real estate developer for doing something like this, you need to be okay with them doing it to other real estate investors and developers, and that may or may not include you. So think about it. You see, it's very easy to point at someone that you may or may not like when they have a stick poked in their eye, or in this case, a big timber log. But what sort of precedent does that set? But don't worry, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, after hearing some chatter from other developers in the state of New York with some, I think, very valid concerns, the same concerns that I'm showing right now, she came out and said that we have nothing to worry about because basically we're not Trump. That is until they don't like your politics, or they don't like your skin color, or they don't like anything about you. That's when they can go after you and take you for everything you've worked for. And we all have that something sitting in our closet. If you say you don't, you're lying, because we all do. Now, how could this affect real estate investing in New York and any other area? Well, at the end of the day, this case, I'm sure it'll get appealed and it'll go through all that process. I'm not a legal attorney. I have no idea, but I'm sure the amount will come down, presumably. But the state of New York is simply on the anti-business, anti-entrepreneurship, anti-job growth a path that they've been on for such a long time now. Remember when Amazon a handful of years ago wanted to bring a huge headquarters to the state or to the city of New York, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, killed the deal, killed it because I don't even know why she didn't think that those would be good jobs for her constituents. I'm sure Amazon saw that as a blessing in disguise with the situation that New York is putting themselves in now. Because I know I live right outside here. I was born in New York City. The regulations, the taxes, everything about it is making it more and more difficult to invest in states like it. You hear it from other YouTubers and stuff all the time. A lot of people from other parts of the country said they would never touch a New York or a New Jersey, or they never touch California, or they never touch, those blue states. Let's call them like it is. Frankly, at this point, it's getting harder and harder to dispute what they're saying. New York City and cities like it around the country are rotting from within and quickly becoming uninvestable unless you're like a big time player that's been there for a long period of time. I live very nearby and I invest very nearby New York City in the slightly more business friendly, maybe if at all, state of New Jersey. Many investors claim that New Jersey is uninvestable as well, and frankly, they're probably not wrong either. Unless you have deep roots here, it's very hard to get started because they make it so difficult. Why do you think we have no homes for sale? We have to go through permit after permit after permit just for the simplest of things that delay everything. But in regard to the actual fraud being done here, us real estate investors need to be very cautious about what road we're allowing them to lead us down. Because like I said before, if they would do it to a former president, we are but a mere speck of dust to them, and they would come down with a hammer like we've never seen before without even thinking twice about it if they saw an opportunity to benefit from it. And is that the investing environment, never mind the country, that you want to be in? Whether you like Trump or hate Trump, think about it. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more real estate related content like this, you will love my custom playlist on real estate, building, and investing. I'll put a link in the description as well as up here in the corner. I felt compelled to make this video and give you my thoughts. Usually my videos are a little different than this, a little bit less opinion, but I just had to get this off of my chest after a few days of digesting it. Whether you like Trump, whether you hate Trump, if you're a real estate investor, drop a comment in the comment section down below. And what do you think about it? What do you think about what I have to say? What do you think about the trial and the fine that was levied? Do you think that this is good for real estate investing? And do you think that this could affect other states around the country as well? Or is this a one-off that you and I have nothing to worry about? Let me know in the comment section, and I will see you next time.